breaking
Note,
news.
under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made fair use for the purposes such as news reporting, criticism, educational, informative, and more. No copyright infringement intended. This video falls under fair use guidelines. Any attempt to claim and falsely the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, better known as DMCA, is illegal and will be countered. Hello, this is All Across the Spectrum's Worldly Financial News Report for the week of August 9th, 2026, and I'm your host, Everett Day. These are the exciting events we will cover today. Fraud is becoming a normal word that is being used to explain our current financial system, and much information is coming out to back this claim. And will there be a restructuring of countries into kingdoms? What is shared to provide insight? This question and many more will be answered on this week's edition of All Across Perspectives Worldly Financial News Report. And as always, we start off the call with some informative videos to share while others join the live call. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure as always to come together, share concepts, ideas, and the latest news events to get a full understanding of what the hell is going on in your world today. Okay, so I put this in because I really want people ask me all the time. Like I said, no one has been in the position of where things are getting ready to head. We all have a preconceived notion. People are going back to the late 20s, early 30s when the Depression started. People were buying buildings for less. Massive buildings in New York for less than $10,000. Okay, so people are going to be strapped for cash. You're going to see a lot. I don't know what this is all we can do is plan the best that we possibly can. You guys are ahead of the game. It's not here to alarm you, but to prepare you. Okay, have some cash available. We talked about having some tangible silver and gold in hand that you can use. Like I said, you're going to take a loss somewhere. Okay, whether it's in your investments in certain cryptos that you invested in and the coin disappears, I don't know. Or you're buying something and you don't get change you're buying it with silver or gold and you don't get change. You just got to buy as much as you can based upon what you have available and what you can take. You're going to take a loss somewhere. Okay, be prepared for that. You know a new system's coming. I don't know how it's going to open up. I don't know how it's going to flip. I don't know. All we can do is prepare, okay? So all I'm doing is giving you guys as much information as possible so that you're prepared for this. Now,
you need 1s, 5s, and 20s. A $100 bill is useless if a desperate store owner cannot make change for a loaf of bread. Across town, gas station pumps stop authenticating credit cards. Drivers start yelling at the attendants. Banking apps fail to load, displaying generic maintenance messages. The sensory overload of a society abruptly cut off from its dopamine feed of instant commerce begins to echo through the streets. You use that physical cash immediately. Do not hoard it yet. Trade it for foundational goods before the herd realizes what is happening. Gasoline, shelf-stable foods, bottled water, and essential medications. You pull into a local hardware store because the grocery stores are already turning into madhouses. You buy contractor bags, bleach, and every butane canister on the shelf. The clerk takes your cash gladly, completely unaware that tomorrow, those green pieces of paper will not be able to buy him a drop of drinking water. By hour 3, the first wave of panic sets in. News networks, if they are still broadcasting, report a massive cyber incident. Government officials urge calm, promising that funds are safe and ledgers will be restored. Do not listen to the calming voices on the radio. Watch the physical environment. Commerce has ground to an absolute halt.
Power out, water gone, no signal, do you have a plan? Get my free Catastrophe Survival 101 course on the Protocol Survival app. Real survival skills completely free. Link in bio.
We're talking about world debt. I want you guys to see this. He's talking about Nassar Jassara and the quantum financial system and what's coming.
We're going to have to put much of the world through financial.
Let me start this over, okay? Here we go. He said world debt will be written off. Here we go.
We're going to have to put much of the world through financial bankruptcy reorganization. Much of the world's debt, including the so-called derivatives and related debt, will simply have to be written off. This is now totaled well over $300 trillion of short-term debt in a world whose estimated global gross domestic product is in the order of 11 trillion. Obviously, you cannot carry this debt.
Everybody carry it. This is going on globally. So it's not just the United States. System of slavery, financial slavery and usury is going to zero. They're going to crash that down and rebuild it. Okay. Like I said, we've talked about this stuff, guys. This is where everything's going. Now, this is your wonderful Jerome Powell. Okay. Here, this is what he has to say. And so if they're going to wipe out the debt, then that means what are they going to replace it with? Here we go.
We're also, as you know, investing heavily right now in building a new settlement system for instant payments in the U.S. It'll be the first such major expansion of our core payment system since the 1970s. We found the case for this quite compelling for consumers, businesses, and just ensuring that all financial institutions have access to the payment system.
Everybody catching on? You see where I'm going? Keep in mind, this statement that he gave, this was actually slightly older, but it fits right into where I'm going with this. Now, the next thing I got, it says here, the global currency reset. 209 countries unite to redefine economic values. The role of currencies. So you got the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese dong, and the Zimbabwe zim. We've talked about those. The fact that they're restructuring those, revaluing. It says, Patriot, are you getting ready for the upcoming global currency reset? There will be an overnight crash of both banks, financial institutions, stock markets, and non-ISO 20022 compliant cryptocurrency. The government is trying to hide this from us. Keep this in mind, guys. This is crazy. All right. Any questions on this stuff? I told you before, your world is changing, and it's changing at an alarming rate. You haven't seen anything yet, guys. It ain't just about crypto. Crypto is just giving them the ability of being able to step away from the system that has enslaved each and every person for hundreds of years. I'm talking about hundreds of years, okay? The Rothschild banking system. The Rothschilds created the banking system in, I want to say, in the 1400s. It might have been the 16 or 1700s. I don't exactly have that date, but we can look it up together. We talk about this stuff all the time. Okay? Bear with me. Is anybody flabbergasted yet?
Completely.
Without a doubt.
Oh my God. But see, this is the deal. I said it once, I'll say it again. You guys are in a position and your mind is open enough to understand that things are changing. Imagine the person who, when this starts to happen, people are going to be like, what is going on?
Yes, yes.
Okay? That's the whole thing. But you mentally have to be disposed in order to understand this stuff. Okay? And you guys are there. So here we go. It says, we have the old system. The Bretton Woods was deceit. The new is the Clarity Act is honesty. Okay? The old, it said the world reserve currency. The new, no reserve currency. Old, trust us. New, show us. Okay. Old, Federal Reserve note. New, United States dollar. So 1944 to 2026, 82 years of debt slavery just in the U.S. Okay. 2026, slaves no more. So if we go into the photo, you guys can see, it just says here, Bretton Woods is 1944 international agreement that was set up a new global financial system, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank were created through the Bretton Woods, okay? The Clarity Act adoption in 2026 is an international agreement that ushered in a new voluntary ISO standardized interoperable monetary system designed for verifiable, honest weights and measures the world over. Everybody agreed. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit like and share it with others so people can get this full understanding of what's taking place with this market in this industry, because it's up to you to make the changes necessary. And we can do this as a community.
In 1871, the banks incorporated the United States and called the United States a corporation. And when they created the District of Columbia, what they did was they put that corporation in the District of Columbia. And they said that the members of Congress were actually managers
Interesting.
of that corporation. And they said the president of the United States was actually the president of that corporation. So we're not
I know we
living
got some people in there
in
say
the
coincidental,
in the
right?
country that we think we're living in. And what I've actually done is I have said that we are under something called state capture. And I have said that there is an interregnum. And if you look that word up, that means that we don't have a legitimate government. And when the founding fathers wrote this Constitution, they realized that the bankers were trying to pull a fast one on us.
It's time to wake up.
In 18
purposes only. Most people still think they're watching a game. They don't realize they're witnessing the most complex military operation in modern history. What if every headline, every scandal, and every failure was part of the plan? What if the chaos wasn't proof of collapse, but evidence of contra? The truth isn't hiding in the noise. It's encoded in the operation itself. Nothing about 2017 to 2025 was random or unplanned. Every move, every delay, every loss was part of the same battlefield strategy that began long before the public realized a war had started. The world thought it was watching ordinary politics. But what was really unfolding was continuity of command guided by military law and strategic deception. Between 2018 and 2020, a web of laws and orders was set into motion. Title 10, Title 32, federalization directives. Each one prepared the battlefield before the public even knew there was a war. Every move was lawful. Every activation was pre-approved by the Constitution itself. Thank you to Derek Johnson, the mapmaker on this laws and orders terrain. While the media mobbed and the crowd slept, a shadow chessboard was being played under unconventional warfare doctrine, where perception became the new battlefield and patience the deadliest weapon. Every headline was a move, every outrage a distraction. They told you to trust the plan. Few realized it wasn't faith they were asking for, it was composure during an active mission. If those orders were unconstitutional, why are they still active? Why did no administration, no Congress, no court shut them down? Because they can't. They are lawful wartime directives operating under the same authority that launched the mission before 2021. The laws were written by patriots for this exact moment in history. This was never about a single election or a 4-year term. It was the execution phase of a plan written years before the public even realized it existed. President didn't walk away, although we know he is central casting. He shifted theaters from the public stage to military oversight, and that's why 45 to 47 isn't a slogan. It's a continuum that the public saw an exit. The military saw a handoff of the battlefield. In war, you don't announce your counteroffensive. You let the enemy celebrate their illusion of victory. This was that moment, a quiet maneuver beneath the noise. A controlled exposure designed to awaken the world while the enemy revealed themselves. The optics weren't chaos, they were calculated theater. The so-called administration wasn't sovereign power. It was a temporary facade, a puppet government used as a mirror to expose the rot. A movie for the blind, a mirror for the awake. Every blunder dot, every scandal. Every collapse, all pieces of a script designed to wake the sleeping masses. This wasn't politics, it was a psyop for the soul, designed to make the world question everything it thought was real. This is what 5th-generation warfare looks like. It's not fought with tanks and missiles, it's fought with narratives, psyops, and legal precision. The battlefield is your mind. The weapon is information, the objective is consciousness. When charges were brought in 2023 and dropped in 2024, the world thought it was coincidence. But the official records referred to a sitting president. Think about that, the optics said, former. The document said, sitting. The illusion was the camouflage. The law was the proof. In asymmetric warfare, timing is everything. You let the enemy believe they're in control right before you reveal they never were. 45-47 isn't 2 presidencies, it's one continuous operation, spanning both the illusion and the reality. The calm before the constitutional storm. Every order from 2018 to 2020 still stands for a reason. They were written for this exact stretch of time when the Republic appeared lost. They activate a silent network, federalized troops, National Guard assets, and intelligence alliances operating behind the scenes while the world argues over politics. They yell unconstitutional because they don't know what the Constitution actually says. They think freedom comes from politicians, but real freedom is guarded by those who swore the oath, not to a man, but to the Republic itself. The Constitution was written to keep government in check. The Declaration was written to keep tyrants out. The genius of this operation is that it lets corruption destroy itself. The people had to see the deception firsthand. They had to live through the movie to recognize the actors. Because you can't tell someone they're enslaved. They have to feel it before they demand freedom. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. So the show played out, not to punish the people, but to awaken them. Only when freedom is nearly lost does it become sacred again. This was never about politics. It was about shaking humanity out of hypnosis. A lesson written by chaos.
The military has taken over everything. President Trump was placed in presidency the first time through the military because there was going to be a coup. They had to take over. When he was no longer president, he got slick. He transferred the presidency over to the Space Force, this new military force he had made, so that when he wasn't president, he was commander-in-chief. Wherever he went, the government followed, plus his own military. Now, in his, they're working to form a totalitarian government. We've got to regain our status so that we in turn can separate ourselves from this situation. We're the people.
At some point, people will look at this body and say, maybe we should get rid of all 435 members of the House and all 100 members of the Senate and start over, because Congress is literally failing the American people.
Sometimes I'd like to get rid of the Senate too, but I don't say it, and I wouldn't do it. But, they want to get rid of the Senate. They want to get rid of, ideally, the House, but they're thinking about maybe keeping the House, Isn't that nice? These are people that have been not successful. They're people that have been, in many cases, failures. They come from other failed countries, and they come here and they tell us how to run our country. They come from
the general election. But,
Sure.
You don't have Republicans talking that way. And so with the Republicans, they want to be MAGA. The big thing is to be MAGA.
Yeah.
And MAGA's the whole deal. The Republican Party basically is all MAGA now. And
stay woke. I hate being the bearer of bad news, but I have some really bad news. Trump just won a major Supreme Court case regarding immigration. But the consequences of this case go way beyond immigration. This ruling essentially weakens federal courts, and it gives Trump and future presidents unchecked power. Let me break it down. Earlier this year, Trump signed Executive Order 14160. And it says if a child is born in the U.S., but his parents aren't citizens or permanent residents, then that child is not a U.S. citizen. And that goes against more than 125 years of legal precedent, including the 1898 case Wong Kim Ark, which says the 14th Amendment guarantees citizenship to almost anyone born in this country unless their parents are diplomats or aliens of a hostile nation. So civil rights groups in 22 states sued Trump over his executive order. And several federal courts blocked Trump's executive order using what we call nationwide or universal injunctions. And those are legal tools used by courts to stop unconstitutional policies from taking effect anywhere in the country. So Trump asked SCOTUS to quickly stop federal courts from issuing universal injunctions. And that's exactly what SCOTUS did on June 27th, 2025, in a 6-3 ruling. So now, federal judges can no longer issue nationwide injunctions unless the plaintiffs are part of a certified class action, which are tough. And here again is the real danger. The case is not just about immigration. So now, if Trump issues an executive order tomorrow that, say, for example, kills the 1964 Civil Rights Act, it could take effect in most states immediately, although it's unconstitutional. Folks, that is not democracy. That is a monarchy. And this ruling doesn't just weaken federal courts. It crowns Trump America's first king. So if you care about civil rights and voting rights and housing and education and the environment, or even your citizenship, please share this video before it's too late and go over to my YouTube channel for the full legal breakdown. And as always, stay woke.
Any questions on any of this so far? Are we good?
Yeah.
I know it's a lot, but like I said, guys, these are the things you got to remember. This is global, okay?
Right.
So as we see this stuff transition, we got to see it all play out, okay? There's a lot of stuff that's going on. I'm going to blow your minds today with a lot of stuff. If I haven't already gotten you, there's some heavier stuff in here.
It's pretty heavy already.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean? You don't want a king?
Oh, man. Wow.
This is insane. This is insane. But hey, is it all hail the king, you know?
Right.
It says Nasar Jassar returned the crown to the robbed royal family. In the reign of the 13 clans of the Satanic Kabbalah, the financial system of the QFS empowers people around the world. Constitution of the Republic since the 4th of July, 2017. Years he was returned to the United States independently. Okay, so you got Trump, and they're putting a crown on his head. All right, I'll show the photos. We'll just go through the photos real quick. King Charles, I don't know if this is AI or what, okay? But just, I'm going somewhere with this. Donald Trump says, wow, that's nice. I've always wanted to live in the Buckingham Palace. I'll talk to the king and queen about this in a few minutes. It says, revealed how the Molly traced Trump's family tree and found out he's the king's cousin, okay? Like I said, I'm just sharing. Charles I, Charles II, Charles III, Charles IV, Charles V, okay? Last one. It says British Army executed Charles III, King of the United Kingdom, under the order of the Majesty Queen Diana, replaced by an actor. Mission is complete, right? The reason why I'm putting all this in is because I said this is not going to be the same country. We talked about the Monroe Doctrine, right? Guys, here we go. There will be 7 kingdoms. Anybody got anything they want to say?
Well,
there will be 7 kingdoms. So you got the UCAP, so it's United States or USA, Canada, Australia, Pacific, Kingdom Leader USA. Okay, so he's got all the Pacific Islands. He's got New Zealand, Australia, Bali, okay, Russia, in Eastern Europe. He's a kingdom leader. He's going to have Albania. I'm not going to read all these. I'm going to drop this so you guys can go in and look. But then you got Asia. You got that's the kingdom leader in China, the kingdom leader in India. He talks about the countries he's going to have access to. The South American and Caribbean. The kingdom leader is Brazil. Okay, but they pick up the entire Caribbean. Okay, this is interesting. Spain and Western Europe. Kingdom leader is Spain. They pick up France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Liechtenstein. I mean, this is insane. It says England becomes its own territory by themselves. And then you got the Middle East and Africa. The kingdom leader is Saudi Arabia. You can't make this stuff up, guys. I'm going to drop this. You guys can come back. I got a lot of stuff I'm going to drop in the chat for you guys tonight. Okay, so let's keep rolling. Everybody get out. So think about it this way, and I want to come off screen for just a minute. They said you cannot put, and it's in the Bible, you can't put new wine in old skins, okay? Why would you carry any debt with you if you can get out of it, okay? This is important. I really want you guys to understand. There's nothing worse than having some weight over your head. If the world can reset and start over from zero, why can't you? This is the time for you to restructure your life. Anything that you feel needs to be said, if you need to get it off your chest, this is the time to get it off your chest. Whatever it is, start over. Become the person you know you were supposed to be. Don't be carrying any anguish into the new world. This is going to be a new world. Start over. If the world can reset, why can't you? That means change the way you eat, what you do, how you look at the world, how you get up every morning. Change it. You have the opportunity to become a new person. Reinvent yourself. Change your circle if you need to. What's keeping you in? What is the reason that you're going to continuously stay the same while the world changes? I'm just asking. These are questions you need to ask yourself. If you know you deserve better, then be better. Okay? This is important. You cannot be the same person, and the world has changed around you. It requires you to change. This is where everybody's going to have a hard time, because people don't like change. The people that can embrace change, I didn't say that they change, but they can embrace the fact that things are changing around them, will be the ones that are the most successful. This is important. The world is changing. Grow and be the best you can be each and every day. Leave the result as it is, because it is the result. I mean, it says it best. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. You come into a fork, and which stream are you gonna take? And then when you take it, you can't go back. That's the problem. The average individual gets on the stream, they make a decision, and they look back and they assume that if they had stayed on the other course, it would have turned out. But they don't realize there was probably a bigger fork, and maybe a waterfall or the rapids. You see what I'm going? So if you make a decision, say, okay, I need to ride this out because I made a decision. It might not be the result you want. It says, okay, well, if you want to get back on the path you were on before, make a better decision. That's all life is, decisions. That's it. You make a decision, you gotta write it out. Make a better decision. That's it, guys. Your world is changing around you. I don't mean to get on my soapbox and preach, but these are the problems. These are the problems people are gonna have, because they can't handle change. They expect everything to just work out in their favor. They expect so-and-so to be a certain way or whatever. No, allow people to be who they are, get the result of how they treat you. And once you find out where you sit with them, okay, now I know how to move. We're so busy trying to make sure the next person's happy with what we do, and are we doing what they want? It was best. Anybody ever read the book, The Alchemist?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna read a quick passage in there. I have this highlighted. I always go back to it and I read it. It just really makes sense to me. All right. This guy, he was a sheep herder, but he had went to a monastery, seminary school, or something like that, and he was very educated, but he did not like it because it was a level of conformity. He wanted the freedom. So he traveled from city to city. I'll just give you the pretext. This is what it says. The boy knew a lot of people in the city. That was what made traveling appeal to him. He always made new friends, and he didn't need to spend all of his time with them. When someone sees the same people every day as had happened with him at the seminary, they wound up becoming a part of that person's life. And when they want that person, and then they want that person to change. If someone isn't what others want them to be, the others become angry. Everyone seems to have a clear idea of how other people should live their lives, but none about his or her own. You can't make this stuff up. Everybody's telling you what you should do, but they don't even know what the heck they're doing for themselves.
Very common.
Interesting.
So be willing to accept the changes that are coming, and like I said, grow each and every day. Yeah. All right, so this is Holocaust Perspectives Worthy Financial News Report for the week of August 9th, 2026. Try to be your best in each and every situation. Leave the result as it is, because this is the result. Find a way to raise your vibration so high the matrix glitches, lights flicker, and stagnant, dormant, and negative energies all transmute just because you stepped into the room. And with that, I'll see each and every one of you guys at the top. You guys have a beautiful evening. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.